this morning and yesterday. So we're glad you're on the line this morning. My name is Byron Dees with the Dreammakers Network. And if you're on for the first time, thank you. We welcome you to this network. We thank you for joining early, wherever time zone you're in. We appreciate your willingness to connect with us and share with us on this mastermind call. We try to carve out the last Saturday of the month to really focus on personal development, to take an opportunity to separate yourself from all the things that have gone on this week, all the things that have really kind of uh, kind of been priority in your life all week. This is an opportunity for you to reconnect with your mindset, with your goals, with things that that you believe are truly priority in your life. And we try our best to interrupt everything else that's going on, primarily because in the spirit of goal setting, we have to have some type of network for accountability to help you to not give up, to make sure that we're having conversations when things are challenging, when things are hectic, when your schedule is busy, and it seems like all the things that are active and busy on your schedule aren't things that are relative to your personal goals. And as we are still in the first month of this new year, and I know so many people jumped into this new year with ready goals for 2023. It's still funny when I say 2023, I'm like, wow. But with these ready goals for 2023, and now we're roughly 28 days into this month and this new year. Where are we? How are we doing? How do we feel about our ability to still accomplish some of these goals? Have we already accomplished some of these goals? We want to talk it through, hear from you guys. This is a real thing, and I don't take it for granted that the value that personal goals mean to each other, to each of us. When we have personal goals that we are committed to, that we know that we need to make real in this life, things that have been in our mind for so long, and you feel a certain way because it's only in your mind. It hadn't reached that point of reality where it's tangible, where other people can associate and participate in the goals that you've set for yourself. I recognize how challenging it is sometimes when those things haven't come through. And so that is a big reason why we host this call. That's the big reason why we have this network. Is to stay connected, is to make sure that you're not in it by yourself, that you have a network of other folks who are also have made that decision to be committed, to be connected, to constantly be in the process of pursuing the goals that matter to you. And we've celebrated some of you guys on things that you've done, things that have happened, and that was one day just kind of an idea, and before we knew anything, we were now experiencing it with you. And so we want to continue that. We want to be in a position, I think, the value of having a life that is filled with you pursuing the things that matter to you, whether it be family, whether it be business, whether it be community, whether it be in ministry, whatever those goals and objectives are, to be able to have a network of folks who are there to support you, that is indeed truly a valuable thing to have. And so just thank you guys for waking up with us this morning. And for those of you who are going to hear us later, we appreciate you tapping in and diving in with us on these topics as we really try to go through this year with a clean objective and accomplishing goals throughout the year. So thank you, and welcome to the Mastermind Call with the Dreammakers Network. Well, as we mentioned, we are in the first month of the year. We've had goals. We've outlined what those goals are, whether it be health and wellness, whether it be financial, business, whatever the case may be, relationships. And some of you have gotten to this point. You may have come in with a goal, with an objective, and got about halfway through the month and realized you need to be focused on something else. And that is something, because an issue may have come up, or you realize a deficiency that is not, helping you to move forward. And so that happens. And it's just the part, like Jim Rohn used to say, it's part of the drama of the story, and that was his way of kind of not allowing himself to become, disheartened or upset about the challenges that comes with pursuing goals and living this life. He just calls it the drama of the story. When you begin to tell your story, you have to have a little bit of drama in there. And in that, the good thing that when I always think about when we talk about the drama and the issues that pop up, if I can think about it only as, man, this is going to make for a really good story. if I can trick my brain to tell me, listen, this is going to make for a really good story, then I won't wallow in the fact that I'm in a bad fix. I'm in a bad fix right now, and so it's whatever we have to do to condition ourselves, our mind, our spirit, our bodies to be able to go through the issues and don't give up. Just keep moving, making sure you're surrounded by the right type of people, people who, have been through some stuff and know that going through stuff is okay. Because I can tell you, if you're surrounded by folks who are trying to hide from issues and trying to hide from challenge and difficulty, those aren't the folks who are going to help you be successful in all the things that you truly want to realize. And so this is just where we are. So I'm thankful for being able to have this conversation at this point. And I really want to manage this time really well. But before we dive into the topic today, I want to hear from you guys, particularly in terms of where you are. How do you feel about where you are at this point of the year, at this point of the month, coming into the new year with goals, with objectives? What's happening? What's going on? Do you feel like are there success stories that you can say, listen, I started this and this is where I am now, and I feel like I'm on the right path. I think I've created, I've gone past 21 days, and now I think I'm in that habit phase where I'm just in a rhythm. Or I haven't gotten there yet, Dees. I started, but then I got hurt and something happened. Whatever the case may be, this is that space. This is that time to talk it through so we can begin to communicate and just be able to kind of tell your story a little bit. So let's take a second and we'll open up the call now for anyone who's ready and prepared and willing to share where they are relative to their goals for 2023. We'll open up the call now.
Good morning, Dwayne Mitchell here.
My brother, how you feeling, man?
I am spectacular. I am simply moving. So, good morning to everyone on the call. Glad to be here again in 2023. As you said, that's very interesting to say 2023.
Wow. I know it.
Long time.
I know it.
So, I'll keep this one short as possible, but and straight to the point. So, from Thanksgiving, I don't know if I shared this with you guys, or I may have so, but I'm going to reshare it again. But from Thanksgiving to the week right before Christmas, I had lost 4 people in my world, 4 people in my life. 3 were my age, and 1 was much older. The gentleman was much older. That was my general manager that I met when I moved out to Springfield, Illinois. I was 30 years old, and I just joined this new company, Destination Hotels and Resorts. I was an outside contractor with them when I was in D.C., when I was at the Monarch Hotel in Georgetown, which is now the Fairmont. So anyway, the moral story is I had lost, these 4 people in my life, and 3. One I had went to Maryland with, another one I worked at a hotel, and another one was a friend of a friend, all at my age. That made me stop and think, But before that, let me back up. In 2019, before the pandemic, 2019, I'd lost 24 people in my world.
Wow.
I was averaging 2 people a month. Amongst family, friends, acquaintances. So that shook me before the pandemic happened, and that happened. So I've been, I've been up and down. Anyway, so long story short is this. My goal, my desire, and what I'm doing, and the reason I'm using words like spectacular, I'm great, is I am old now is to give, receive, but more importantly, to give light and love. So that's my goal. That's what I'm doing. I'm giving light and love. I've reached out to a lot of people in my world that I've spoken to in the last 6 months, the people that I haven't spoken to in the last 6 months. And I just told them, hey, listen, whatever you are doing, I'm proud of you. Whatever you need help with, I'm going to be there for you. If you are truly successful in anything that you want to do, please let me know that if there's a way that I can help you, and I will give you my light and love. And then hopefully I said, I'm going to ask for the same thing.
Okay.
And hopefully you can give it to me. If you can't give it to me, that's fine, because I know that you're busy or something's coming up. But I would hopefully receive the same amount of light and love and respect back from you. And if you can't, I understand. Or if you're not willing to, I'm going to understand. But the reason I'm doing that is because life is short. Life is short. Don't know. You just don't know. So I'm getting that. So my goal for 2023 and for the rest of my time on this precious planet that we have here is done holding grudges. I'm done being angry. I'm done being upset over nothing. Doesn't matter. Like, and to me, that's everything. So if you owe me money, that's okay. I gave it to you because you need it. And listen, if I owed you money and you didn't pay me back, that's fine because you needed it. I am blessed and thankful that I had the money to give you.
Yeah.
If you call for advice or if you call me because you want me to hook you up with hotels, I'm blessed and happy that I was able to do that because you needed it. And if you haven't called me back, well, that's maybe because your phone got turned off or something happened. But I'm glad I was there for you. If you needed me to help you move, and then when it's time for me to move, you could have helped me out. Well, that's fine because that means that you were busy doing your own goals or something like that. So that's why I'm just going to say, you know what, it's okay because it's not worth it because 2 people that passed away, one was his brother from Maryland, and he was, long story short, I was online pledging. I can't say too much because they were off campus. They were suspended. So when we were doing it, if Nationals would have found out, they would have dropped the whole chapter completely. So anyway, he had passed away. And I saw him 4 years ago when I first moved to Philly. And he came up to Philly, and he was the president of a real estate company. And they bought 30 acres up here. And I went and checked them out. But I haven't spoke to him since then. And the last thing I heard about him was he's passed away. I'm like, so, that's not right. So anyway, so that had inspired me. That had woke me up. That had said, hey, Dwayne, listen, time for you to share light and love with everybody. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
That's my goal. That's what I'm doing. If anyone needs anything, you guys should know how to get a hold of me. If not, get a hold of Peace, and within my powers,
Dwayne, did we lose you? All right.
Supportive of whatever you accomplish.
I love it. I love it, man.
Good. And in return, I'm going to ask the same in return. I want you to be genuinely happy for me. If you can't, that's fine. That's okay. I mean, I'm not going to be like, oh, man, that dude or that young lady couldn't do this for me, and I did this for you. Okay, maybe it's just not in your cards right now.
And I'm glad you mentioned that. The way I'm glad you mentioned that part because it made me think about Deepak Chopra's book, 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, and one of the chapters is talks about the law of giving, and in the law of giving, once you have initiated the give, so that the fact that there was an act of giving, there is no at the end of the day, the receiving will happen. And it may not come in the way that we understand and the way we think, but the receiving comes because you give. And that, I remember the first time I read that, I felt like a big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
Right. Yes.
When I read that for the first time, it was almost like, I don't have to expect anything from anybody, because the flow is a universal law that if I give, that the receiving happens anyway. It's going to happen. So I can take it out of my mind. How will I receive? How will it come back? Will it come back from the person I just gave to? Or, I remember growing up in church and we're talking about, those who give, you will receive, tenfold. And so I used to always, as a kid, try to understand that because I heard it so much. But it was after reading that chapter in the book, 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, that the law of giving is, as long as we give, there is no doubt of receiving. It will happen. And digesting that was a game changer in my spirit. And I'm glad you talked about, first of all, because you and I talked a couple of weeks ago, and in listening to you, I heard and felt what you were putting out. I felt it. It came through. And I remember I told Rhea, I was like, listen, Dwayne is on a new kick, and this kick is great, because I felt it in our conversation. And it really is a blessing when you can talk to someone and know that they're just in the spirit of giving. And that, again, that chapter in that book comes back every time I feel like I receive someone pouring into my life. That chapter pops up in my brain, the law of giving. And so I highly recommend anyone who, if you haven't read the book, The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra, it is a must. It is a must read in terms of personal development and really just understanding the flow of universal law and how it applies to our lives. And especially when we're, as Dwayne mentioned, really realizing time and our activities in this moment. And so I appreciate you sharing that and just your intentionality at this point, because that part, the giving part, is difficult for a lot of folks. Because I know some folks are like, well, what am I giving them for? It's like they're not gonna give anything back. So it's like, what's the purpose?
Oh yeah.
So
what's the purpose of it? Why? Right. Right. Like, what am I gonna get out of this?
That's right.
Well, you know what? I'm not getting anything else. Sorry, dude, I'm not helping you out. I used to have the mentality. I ain't gonna lie. I used to have the mentality. Yep. But I'm not anymore. So that's one part, and like, I'm keep it short, because as you know, I can get on that soapbox as well. But so goals of this year is that what's clicking for me is the health, fitness, wellness. I'm still in the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning, still going at least 4 times a week. Top of my pyramid, I've succeeded over that 315 mark on my bench, so that's going well. I'm losing weight.
315.
There's a lady that.
Don't say that too fast. Slow down, brother. 315. What we talking about? Benching?
Yeah.
Wow. My man.
Oh man, that's nothing. Hey, listen, and I'm still one of the weakest guys in the gym.
Wow.
So yeah.
Hey, you gotta tell that to Bonnie, man. Me and Bonnie were just talking about, like, we got to get in, get on the freeway. So this is brother talking 315.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's at the top of my. Oh yeah, I start off at 155, and I think I go to I do 155. Like, I do a set of 10 reps there. Then I think I go to 205. I do 8 sets there. Then I go to 265. do 4 sets there, then I do 285, 2 sets there, then 1 set of 315, and then I come back down. And then I finish off with until 15, 20 reps at 155 again. Yeah. And then I go to the incline bench. I stick at 135. I do 4 reps of 10 to 12. And then I do, just do all the accessory weights, all the accessory exercises for my chest.
Wow.
All that to burn out. But anyway,
inspiration.
So last week, here's a side note. I actually helped. There's this lady. Well, she's a young lady. She's probably like late 20s, mid to late 20s.
Okay.
She's about 5, or maybe with 120 pounds. She is the world record holder for bench. I think she did like 235 or 237. But I had helped her out with her personal record for close grip. She's benching close grip at 227. And I helped her out, which I didn't even know that. She gave me a big high five. She's like, "Thanks, Emily, what?" She's like, your encouragement, you got me to give that extra little push for that, for that. And I'm like, I thought that you just work it out. She's like, "No, that's a personal record."
Wow.
So I was like, there you go. Exactly, going away. But my story is, I think I've spoke about this years ago, and now we're re-engaging in this, which is Soul, the Strains of Life. The Strains of Life is a CBD company owned by a good friend of mine, Derek Frost. I grew up with him. He's a brother of mine. So, I've known him since the 7th grade. We played football together in high school.
Oh, yeah.
We were roommates at Maryland. But we are developing an energy drink, a botanical, plant-based, organic energy drink. Soul, SOL, Strains of Life. The Strains of Life, and it comes from the cannabis, the CBD world.
Yep.
But there's no CBD. It's all plant-based. So we're looking to launch that in June, July. But we also have apparel. At least when you sent out that text for the golf, that was the apparel I sent out.
Yeah, I saw that.
Hey, more to come. Yeah. So that apparel, dope. I have some dope apparel already. And then for people who want to hit the gym, we have this gel, and it's muscle relaxer. That does have CBD in it. I use it on my shoulder whenever right before I hit the gym. I just roll just a little bit on, gets into my shoulders, it relaxes the muscles. And so I'm selling the package of the energy drink, which is muscle recovery, natural energy. I'm going towards more organic foods, more healthy foods, more foods that feed the body, mind, and soul. So that's why we come up with Strains of Life. So there's more to come with that. So I remember you said what's going on in your world a lot. So I'm gonna cut it short because I know we got short time here. But it's called right now, if you look at our CBD products, it's SOL.MD. That's SOL.MD. Soul. It means the Strains of Life. So yeah, that's what I got going.
SOL.MD. Got it. I love it. I was just going to ask you about if there was a website set up and purchase apparel on the whole nine. So that's perfect. I just put that out there. SOL.MD. I love it, man.
Yeah. So that one's for the CBD product that we're going to relaunch. That is out, and we stepped back because of the 2020 and everything else. So we stepped back from it, but now we're going to relaunch it. So we're getting everything going with our target dates. The June, July target of getting all those products back on market. The apparel, get the apparel back on market. But then we're going to have another site just for the energy drink itself, which I'm focusing heavy on because I'm looking to get that into spas, at hotels, resorts, and then also to gyms as well. So once I get all that, I'll share that with you guys as well.
Yeah, keep us plugged in, man. Keep us plugged in. I love it. Yeah, it's a good look, man. And
Black owned.
Yeah, black owned. And
black owned.
That was the cool part.
And then the thing. Yeah, and I'm working into ownership, so I'm working towards the equity in it myself. So, and I'm looking to make this my full-time job. This is what I want to retire on. And he looked at me. I was like, I'm going to be a spokesmodel. I'm hitting the gym. I'm going to have that overfit body that looks like I'm 25 years old. That's my goal.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. No, that's good stuff, man. You know what was interesting? I think on the last call we talked about trying new things and experiences, and that was something that one thing that Maria and I enjoy is golf, and whether we're playing or if we're just watching, we can sit home and watch golf like all day, and it was cool because I personally have been playing golf maybe about a decade, but I didn't really watch golf. But Maria has been watching golf, and she knows the names of the players. And I was like, okay. And so it was long story short, it was the first time we had ever gone out and played golf together was with one of my clients who was a really good golfer. And she was nervous and clamming up. And before we even went, she was just like, oh my God, I'm going to, really suck at this. And she did first swing, and it was just something about that golf club cracking the ball and it just soaring off. It was like it set off all of the endorphins in her body, and it created a monster, if you will, at that point. Like she was like, this is it. This is my thing. And so
nice.
And going back to these experiences, so it was last week when we went to the golf event in Orlando, and we were rocking the East Side Golf, which is a Black-owned golf company, and to see those celebrity golf event, and they were wearing it. Some of the Black celebrities there were wearing Eastside Golf. So Real was taking pictures, and it was just one of those things that, the experiences and how much we just enjoyed it together. But are we actively trying to factor in new experiences into our life? Things that just making it a part of your week, your month. Something new, something that's going it's one thing when you do the same thing over and over again and you kind of get used to it, but it's another if you go and do something that you've never done before. Everything there is completely new. It's a new experience, and you're able to take it in and find value in that. And that was something I'm giving my little 2 cents on this month. That was one of the things I identified as kind of a progress report, if you will. Because, as parents, you can just get so in the rhythm of just work and parenting. And before you know it, you feel like you're a zombie. It's like, what am I doing in this life? Right. And taking time for new experiences and just, put your eyes on something else. I saw that personally, for me and her both, as a progressive step toward our own personal goals, but then as our relationship goals too, and it made me really want to do more of that, to start thinking about, well, what about next month? What are we going to do next month? That's different, that's new, so next month the CIAA is in Baltimore, and she's like, hey, I'm taking off some time because I'm going to be up here for work anyway. She's like, I'm coming too, and we're going to go and we'll do CIAAs, go to the games, just take in the city and the whole nine. And those are things you start looking forward to, things that are different off the mundane work and parenting schedule. Little things like that can keep me focused and excited, and still kind of moving toward these goal setting ideas and strategies that we've been talking about. And those are relationship goals, So, and that I'm pretty excited about, was proud of for this month. So, kind of threw my 2 cents in real quick. So,
yeah, love it.
Anybody else? Let's open up the call. Anybody else want to talk about their January? Where are you with the goals? How's it working out? And I saw Adirante. I appreciate you jumping in, letting us know online. So if you're online watching, please hit the chat, leave the comments in about what's going on in your 2023. We'll open up the call now for anybody who wants to share and kind of give us an update of where you are with your goals for this month and throughout the year. We'll open up the call now.
Brother D.
Haha, what's going on?
Hey man, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm excited. I'm excited to be here, man. I'm excited.
We missed you last week.
Shadow banned. I got shadow bans, man. I don't know. It must mean something good is happening. And well, I got some things happening, but I'm also angry and salty about Dwayne's giving love. Because if I'd have known this was coming, I definitely would have borrowed money early, because he gave amnesty for any money that he was owed. And I could have, I could have went ahead and wrote off some money.
That's right.
God, hey, another one. What do you need, sir? What do you need, sir? I got that. How can I assist? You don't need to be. How can I?
How can I assist? I love it.
Man, how can I assist? I'm excited, man. I just here. It's good to be on, and it started off a strong blessing to hear y'all talk, and and to go in that direction, and that intentionality about positivity is just it's beyond just a regular goal. It's like it's really tapping into some real, and it's appropriate that it's Dwayne that set it off. But I mean, that's a very powerful thing. It's not just, and I don't want to say just the goal, but it's more than picking a dollar amount or whatever. To say that I just want to intentionally give love and life. I mean, he's definitely on this disciple game right now. That's a powerful thing. So. And you need to hear that. You need to hear that kind of stuff, on an early Saturday morning as the sun is coming up. You just need to hear that. So I don't take that for granted. I don't take it lightly at all. So I'm appreciative of that. I think what I did as far as January goes, I'm always in my experimental game, right, with life.
Okay.
So here's what I decided. I decided that I control my own life. And as much as I love to set goals and push, I was like, January 1st is not mine. It doesn't mean anything to me. I control the time when I start, stop, and do whatever, right? So I said, I'm gonna go to February 1st.
Okay.
That's when I'm gonna set it off. That's gonna be my thing. I'm gonna make Black history in February. That's what I said, right?
I love it.
My little mantra. So what it did was, so needless to say, I kind of just chugged along, and I went through it. It eliminated the pressure that I normally put on myself for the first of the year. Okay. And I know, sometimes we say, you shouldn't have pressure, but let's be honest, the world is pushing, and there's a lot of conversation about what should be happening. Yeah. In the first of the year, it's just a fact. It's a fact. What is the first of the year going to be? I mean, in the whole 2023, and I know, there's I'm sure there's astrological, and the sun is rotating, and all these other things that have determined why the year turned, and how we determine what the dates are and all that. So I'm not saying it's not important. I'm just saying for my own sanity and just to do something different. I was like, you know what? I'm February 1st. I'm cool. And what it did was, just as an experiment, it allowed, first of all, I went into the first of the year relaxed. Okay. Very relaxed. It was very relaxing. It wasn't that, typically I got a notepad thick of stuff that I've been thinking about, starting in December. Oh man, and I got all these lists and all that, and I'm like, well, we're gonna do this, we're gonna pull this, and I need to get in contact with this person, and I need to, and I want this amount of money in the bank, and I'm trying to get here, and I'm not talking to that person anymore. They're negative, and you got this whole thing, this list going to the first, right? Which works and has worked in the past, and I'm not saying it's not important. I'm just saying I chose this year to make an adjustment, and the main adjustment is because I started a 3-year plan at my birthday in August. Okay. Was the beginning of what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So the 2023 was, when it started, obviously you make a checkpoint, you accept the checkpoint, but it wasn't the major thing. I decided to just, I said, man, I'm picking February, Why do they even call it January? I was on that. Like, why do I have to call the month January? I call it what I want to call it. Who named it? Or just my free thinking vibration. So, and that's the direction that I took it. What it allowed me, what it did allow me to do was to move, was to one, keep some bad habits that I am going to change back through January. So I didn't. It was very freeing to just enjoy food and chill from Thanksgiving to Christmas, and just go ahead and smoothing on out through January.
Smoothing on out.
That was a bad thing. Yeah, that was a bad thing. That was not good because you should.
Yeah.
But it also allowed the transition was a lot smoother from the extremity of Christmas, Thanksgiving and all that, to go right into pushing hard on the 1st of January. And the thing that I wanted to emphasize, so going into February, I said I'll go February, so we'll start seeing things happen in February. But the thing that I wanted to emphasize in my mind, and then reiterate to everybody that's on the call, is that one, it doesn't have. It could have been November the 1st or October the 1st.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that you really control your own direction. It's good to have a push, and it's good to have reminders from society, but you control your own direction. And so in doing that, there was a relaxation in not just going with the flow. And I always get I get a little bit of. I feel good anyway, kind of bucking the system. So, that's what for your question. That's where it's at. So, that's where we go.
Bucking the system.
Certain systems, not all the systems. Now, universal law, I don't try to buck universal law. The law
I'm trying to figure out which system you bucking right now, brother.
Yeah. I'm not bucking universal law.
Okay,
I'm not bucking
all right.
Plan. But it's 3 a.m. and it's a red light. Nobody's coming. I'm not waiting. I'm going. Put this thing up anyway. 3 in the morning now.
Where are you going at 3 in the morning?
Home. 3 in the morning. Out. I'm going where I want to go. The point is, but I'm saying that to just be a free thinker. That's all.
Yeah, no. Got it.
That's what I came with.
Got it.
Yes, I am bucking the system, but I'm not bucking God's law. I'm not bucking God's law. But the system and God's law don't go together, despite what what Joe Biden might tell y'all. It's not, what I'm saying, or Donald Trump, whichever one you pick, whoever you rock with. I'm saying that neither one of them are God.
No.
And their systems don't always rock.
No, that's right. Oh my God.
So that's it. So that's where we are. So February 1st, Black History Month. Bam, there we go.
Yeah,
I'm going with that.
I'm with you, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I love after once you hit January 15th is Martin Luther King. I'm officially in Black History Month at Martin Luther King Day. So I'm in, right? So it's everything. I'm like, how do we stretch this out? So I'm definitely with that.
I'm with you, man. I know this is totally off topic, but I did see and I will get back. But just talking about Martin Luther King, I saw this thing where they were talking about the celebration and the different flyers that they had. I know you saw it because you plugged in so hard, social media wise, the different flyers of Martin Luther King with the chains on, and they had superimposed his face on the tip of the thing. I was just like, man, we got work to do.
We got work to do.
It was funny though, but
we got work.
So that's how we set it up.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So that's it. You said Martin Luther King, and that's terrible. That was the first thing that popped in my mind.
I know it.
We did start it off with giving love and light and the law of reciprocity, and I wholeheartedly believe that. So there we go.
Well, you know what? I think this is a very good segue. I sent out earlier that the focus of the call today was on the topic of time, and how do we value time? Do we value time? What is our relationship with time? And especially as we are kind of outlining our goals and what's next. And I had to kind of get confronted myself, actually. And Dwayne really outlined a good way to think about it, especially when you have people your age passing away, things like that. And you ask the question, where were they right before it ended, right? What was there? What process were they on? What were they working on that's now incomplete because they passed away before they could finish it off? And how do you feel about that? Some people say, I don't care, man. I live, one day I'll die, and that'll be it. And that's, everybody has their own kind of relationship with time and what you're doing in the time that you have right now. I'm at a kind of a point in my life where I really, impact is a big goal, is a big thing, and there's so many things to work on. And so I'm like, well, I want to spend this time, in this life working on things that I care about, working on things that I feel like can help move the needle relative to the things that matter to me. And so when you start thinking about goals and time and the relationship between your goals and the time that you have, and at some point I made a decision that I wanted to work on things that could live beyond me. And basically what I really was trying to do is feel better about time, because at the end of the day, what I'm really trying to do is make sure that the things that matter to me those things are being worked on. And then if we do it in the right way, we set it up the right way, it's going to go on regardless of my time in this life or not. And so that's kind of how when I look at my relationship with time. So with that being said, though, the only way you can pull something like that off, I shouldn't say the only way, but if a way that it can have some real longevity is if you create a system, a system that will continue on even if you're not here. Somebody's doing it. It's still working. It's still of value to other people. It's in their interest to do it too. And if you can inspire other people to pursue their goals and dreams and plug that into as part of the system, then you begin to feel, personally, I begin to feel better about the work. I begin to feel better about what am I actually pursuing. and so I wanted us to kind of think about that, because when we think about what we've identified as our goals and our dreams and things that we want to see happen in this life, whatever it may be, for individuals, very personal to each of you. What is your relationship with time? Do you feel like you have more time, and you can kind of push things off? It's not that big of a hurry. It's going to happen someday, so I'm going to pursue this when this happens, or I got this other thing I'm focused on now, but as soon as that's done, I'm going to go after the big thing, right? Do you feel like time is on your side? Or are you in a situation where you feel like you're behind the 8 ball? I had a client meeting the other day with a sister who's 61. And she said, listen, I've worked all my years. I didn't save any money. And now I want to save money. I want to invest. I want to one day have passive income. I want that. Is it too late? And that was her question to me. Is it too late to do that? And I was like, hey, the fact that you thought about it, it's never too late. So let's just come up with a plan and let's do it. And I had a conversation yesterday with a sister who just turned 75, but she's active and she's still making things happen and she's still rocking. But she had a similar conversation, said, I've just been active. I've been doing everything. I had this happen. I went through a divorce. I had that happen, and so it didn't play well for my financial plan over the years. But hey, I still have energy. I still have life. I still have goals. I still have things I'm working on. Is it too late for me? And so I was like, no, the fact that you thought about it, let's put together a plan and let's do it. And so I say that to say to you guys, as we think about where we are today, our goals, our relationship with time, do we feel like we're running out of time? Are we delaying the things that we've identified as important to you? Are you finding ways to incorporate those things that actually really matter to you? Are you finding ways to participate and be active in those things? Or is it something like, I got to get past this first, and once I get past this, I'll be able to do that? and be honest with yourself about it. Be honest, and to just realize where you are right now. Is this something that I can, do I feel any angst about not doing the things that really matter to you? That's really the question I want to pose to you guys. You don't have to answer that question right now, as I'm looking at the time getting closer to 8 o'clock. But what I do want is for us to begin to think about, like, really to prioritize what matters to you. Like that, I think that at the end of the day, that is my hope and prayer, that everybody who is listening, who's on this call right now, who will hear this later, that you make the decision to prioritize what matters to you. To don't, for whatever reason you're not actively doing the things that truly matter to you, it's time for you to end that relationship with whatever that thing is. It's time for you to end whatever is keeping you from, because here's the thing, and I can't speak for everybody, but I know for myself, when I'm in a rhythm of doing something that I know that I'm passionate about, and when you are active in faith. I had a meeting. It wasn't even a meeting, yo. This is a good example. What's this? Today, Sunday, Saturday, Thursday. I had a bunch of stuff on my schedule, and I was at a point where I was like, something's not going to happen. I'm not going to something, and so I made the decision. I was like, I'm going to just go to this event, and I'm going to spend time there. And I'm so glad I did. Even though I saw the other thing I was supposed to go to, but I'm so glad I did, because the intentionality around, I'm here, I have an objective, I want to communicate that objective, created an opportunity for me to meet someone that I'd never met before, didn't even know I was potentially going to have access to that person. And we had roughly about a 2.5-hour conversation on some very potentially impactful things that could happen here in the city of Baltimore, like real tangible, something that could become systemic. And it was just unbelievable that it's just the spirit of intentionality. When you come in with a certain energy, a certain expectation about who you are and what you hope to get out of stuff. It's like when you walk into a room with a certain type of expectation, and it's not on the agenda. You don't know the players who potentially will be of value to you, but it goes back to what Dwayne and I were just talking about. When you talk about the law of giving, I almost associate the word giving and intentionality almost like synonymous, because it's like you have a certain intention that you're bringing with you. You may not even have spoken a word yet. The energy of intentionality is giving. You're here to give what you believe is important, and it works. I don't want to dance around this. It works when you are in a situation where you care deeply about whatever it is, right? And you for I would say, for this particular conversation I had on Thursday, most of the conversation I didn't really say a word. I was just listening, and when I did say a couple things, I made sure that whatever I said was part of me sharing and giving what's deeply valuable to me on that particular topic. And I remember the guy walked. He said, "Hey, I want to talk to you." He's like, "Yeah, you said something. We got to dig in." And it was over. The meeting was over. It was time to go. He was like, "You got time for a drink?" And he was just like, "We got to talk." And it ended up really being, I walked away saying, this is the type of stuff. This is how I want to spend my time. This is how I want to spend my time, being intentional, not allowing, circumstances. I can tell you, while I was in that conversation, I was looking at my phone. getting text messages about all kind of crazy stuff that would easily throw you off your game. Easy. And you have to make a decision. Am I going to dive into the crazy, or am I going to stay focused on what the universe has created because of intentionality and the law of giving? And I said, I'm going to stay focused, and I'm glad I did. And we have to, we talked about the drama. The drama is there, right? And this life does not slow down, so, but we just have to make the decision. What are we going to dive into? All these things are important, but is it going to keep you moving in a direction that is helping you to make progress on your goals and your objectives and the things that are priority to you? Are you making progress? Do you see things are changing? Like, can you look inside yourself, or just look at, maybe it's a physical situation? It's like Dwayne mentioned. Dwayne, we saw each other a couple months ago. I was like, oh yeah, this brother's definitely in shape now. I was like, he looks great. And so, and that was just a fact. You could see the work you could see it. And then you open his mouth, a new level of energy coming out. Are we seeing that progress in our own goals? Are we, that's what we're talking about here. And for this call, we try to be very specific, when we talk about personal development and goals, because it's not like you're going to have these types of conversations in other settings. Some people shy away when we start talking about goal setting and purpose and stuff that may sound esoteric and like, oh, is that real? Like, what are you talking about? Did that guy, like, sometimes you can't just throw around terms like universal law in any room, right? So some of these folks like, okay, he's weird. And, so you have to be, you have to have a safe place to be able to speak like that. And I for the past decade, we have tried to make this room one of those safe places where you can begin to just say, man, to heck with all that. I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to make progress in this life. And that's the objective that we have for this call, is to make sure that there's no gray area here. We're focused on helping you commit to the things that matter to you, and trying to pour that energy to say, yeah, you can do it. You know why? Because people accomplish stuff. People do it. And if you're looking around your circle and it looks like no one's accomplishing anything, might be time for a new circle. Because I know a lot of folks who don't make progress, and they're okay with it. It's like, all right, well, whatever. That's because I was like, okay, good to see you. Time to keep going, because you have to protect yourself from, the pity party folks. You have to protect yourself from the woe is me's, and you have to make this a conscious decision that I need a new network, man. I need to spend time with people who really are committed to and who are positive, who I'm gaining from. Every time I talk to them, I get something out of them. And sometimes it's just, I don't even say a word. I'm just there. just happy to be in the space where I feel like I'm learning and growing and hearing other people's stories and perspectives. And sometimes you have to force those situations through reading and listening to your audibles and all that kind of stuff, making sure that you're hanging around people who read books or who have access to stuff, and information that could be of value to you. We try to pepper in stuff like that as often as possible. My sister and I, we've been talking about, one of my favorite people, Vernon Jordan, and, having deep conversations about him and his work and what role he played in, the progress of America and Black people and that kind of thing. Like, that's the kind of stuff that gets me fired up, because now you got these examples and they're documented stories that you can get access to their drama, to their stories. And then you can take a look at what you're working on and say, okay, this ain't that bad. These guys had it a lot worse. These guys were able to make progress in a lot worse, situations that were going on. So, and there's so much. My brain is getting ready to take another hour, and I gotta go. But this is, but I want to just be clear about this. When I want you guys to come to this call, say, you know what, this is right. We're getting ready. We're getting ready to make some progress, because I know these folks who are on the call are even they may have hit a bump, but they're not people who give up. Like, that's the objective, is to be able to feel like you have a network of folks who just don't give up, even though they're going through stuff. They're still focused on progress. And I have some other things I want to talk to you guys about, but it's gonna, trust me, we will be rolling it out. So many exciting things for this year. Just so many blessings to come. But I wanted to share that with you and just kind of lay that on your mind as we talk about goals and your relationship with time. And is there a sense of urgency, or do you feel like you got some time and you can kind of work on some other things? So just wanted to sow a seed for you to think about as you are kind of going through the progress of development for this year and seeing how things went in this month. That's want to just leave that on your spirit for a second. We'll take a little second and we'll open up the call now. Anybody have any questions or comments on today's call? We'll open up the call now.
Byron, I like what you're talking about, that sense of urgency. And when you first said the women were 60 and 70, I'm like, oh Lord. But that's what they are, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to have that conversation then. So that's one of the things that was on my list of, like, making sure that I'm putting together systems right now for my business, because it's still new. And like I do my corporation stuff. I've been working through it really since June. And so, like, my goal for right now is making sure that the streams of income, I'm using my business account correctly. Sitting down with someone, making sure that I'm paying myself enough, that I'm paying my business, or what's the business account, or what's the business expense, and what should come out of that account, without having to come to my paycheck. Like, I don't need to have this amount of money as far as what my salary is. If I'm using business expenses, then that can be on that side of things. So I'm just trying to figure out what that looks like. And then even hopefully the next quarter, I'll be able to start looking at again my savings and what's going as far as investments, once I know for sure what's definitely coming in monthly. So it's just like getting those contracts in order, putting those priorities together, and then figuring out the financial side of that. And I know that's not my list. So asking for the help to help set those systems up. And like right now, it's hilarious because I don't know if Rhea told you that I fractured my ankle.
I heard.
My fibula 2 or 3 weeks ago. And so that was not expected, right? But it's like, for the first 2 weeks, I couldn't do much enough in the first week. I was just like in pain and miserable and trying to get everything I needed to my mama's house. And now there's like a little bit of settle, but I'm back on like what needs to happen. So like getting all my, saying, hey, I can come to the office if there's a 4-hour window, but I'm not coming to the office for no 1-hour conversation. So my partner is like setting up what I work for. He's setting up all these things on Tuesday where I'm like, okay, I have, a list of meetings, so it's worth my while. But even being able to say, I'm not running back and forth for one thing is big for me, because I can imagine him having meetings spread out all week long, and then I can't be effective in my time. But hey, yes, make Tuesday our meeting date, set up as many meetings as possible, so that I can work on this contract on Tuesday, because on Thursday I have another contract or enough things I need to get done that way. So just being, like, for me, being really intentional about how I'm setting up my days. So I'm not just responding to emails all day long, every day. No, emails are on these 2 days. Meetings are on this day. These are the systems I put into place financially. Like, that's what I've been working on in the midst of this ankle thing, but also it's forcing me to write, because I know that's something else I have to do. Like, I got some books I got to write. I got some proposed new things that just need to be written. Because I'm running around hither and yonder every single day. When does that happen? So I'm just kind of going back into that grad school, setting my schedule up, because I need to, because I literally have 3 contracts, and I still have a life that I would like to live. So it's like, this time is extremely essential in how I plan it right now.
Hey, man. you know, you can call your brother, especially when you have these conversations
Yes,
around.
yes, you're on my list.
Am I commingling my money, right? You know, how should I pay myself? How should I pay the business? Is this an S corp? What are the rules? Like, it's tax time. How should I, should I be using QuickBooks? Should I use, we got the network.
I ain't doing that at all.
We got,
yeah, we got the people. So
we got the people.
We'll be in communication.
We got the people, and that's the thing, right? So, and actually, I just posted. We're making some updates to the website. We're launching a membership, which includes in that we have two different memberships: Engage membership, which is individual, and Engage Plus, which includes business and for folks who need that kind of more of a business coaching type support. This is part of the system that I was talking about. Being able to have something that works, have a support network, and being able to have members who are all pursuing goals and have activities, just like Tyson outlined everything, moving into business, but trying to figure out if you've been a personal kind of W-2 person all your life and you said, I'm starting a business, I'm moving forward with my new venture, but it's new, right? So you have to have proper guidance to make sure you have a successful transition. And sometimes our transitions are just kind of hybrid, if you will. Like you may still have, W-2 income, but you're still receiving 1099, or you may have investments and you're bringing in K1 money, because you have some investments going. So it's just how do you actively organize these different flows of dollars especially if the ultimate goal is passive income. How do you best do that? And so this is part of when we start talking about life's work. Launching this membership with the Dreammakers Network is step one to even a bigger goal, right? And so, but I'm glad that you helped to identify that, when you're goal setting, you just gave some of the details of what happens when you are setting goals. These are some of the realities, things that you have to deal with when you're still trying to stay on top of your goals. And so I love that you were able to just kind of unpack your day a little bit, things that you're thinking about, things that you're preparing to do, but you hadn't done yet, but it's on the to-do list. We want to be supportive of each other as we're going through these, kind of growing pains and learning new tricks and solutions, as we're working through these objectives. So thank you for mapping that out. I appreciate that. Anybody else before we finish up? 8:10. It's 8:10. Anybody else have anything you want to share?
8:10. Don't miss the plane. Don't miss the plane. I did have one thing to highlight about Tysana's thing.
Okay.
It's just like I know you hammered it with the financial side and you're the expert of that, and obviously on the personal development, there's a blend there. But what I heard was, I broke my leg, but I still do my job.
Yeah.
And I'm still pushing forward on, a startup business. And you said something in the network before she got on where you were like, I want you to know that you're with people who don't give up.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of reasons to give up, and a broken leg is probably up on the list
good one.
of reasons to stop and give up. As far as the list of reasons to give up it's got to be on there pretty high.
It's on.
So the idea that I'm not going to do that, and and I'm going to readjust everything, but keep pushing is a powerful thing. So that was the thing that I heard, and then and obviously the organizing piece is everybody needs that, but that piece right there is very powerful. There's no giving up, even when you break your ankle. And I am on the text message, and I did see that thing. I was like, wow, I wonder that didn't look good. But to keep it moving is all we can do. So it's inspiring too. So thank you for that.
Love it.
For sure. Oh, and I'm taking a yoga certification class right now, which is hilarious because my leg is all balled up. But that's pushing me in learning modifications to really figure out like how to work out certain things without doing what you would typically do. So my modification game is going to be bomb, which is hilarious because I'm a special educator. So no matter what, I'm always going to have these modifications in Black women because we have to do certain yoga poses differently. We got a little bit of extra curve and movement in our body system. So it's been a hilarious 2 weeks in the midst just everything. It's been hilarious. Because why not?
I love the drama. I love the drama. I think somebody told me, it's like, Tatiana broke her ankle or something. I love the drama. That's all it is. Oh man. All right. We're about to wrap this up. Anybody else before we finish up? Anybody else before we finish up for the day? All right.
Just light and love, friends. Light and love.
Light and love. Deepak Chopra. Get the book. Seven Spiritual Laws of Success. Get that book. Get it on Audible. It's an easy read, easy listen, but just powerful, man. It's purely powerful. We talked about Vernon can read. Vernon Jordan's book, absolutely powerful autobiography. Got to read that. He wrote another book recently, not too long before he passed away, called Make It Plain. And they actually have a documentary on Prime Video. Make It Plain, Vernon Jordan. This is good stuff, man. These people, just a lot of stuff packed in there that helps, that kind of supports what we talk about here. But definitely a couple good books there to kind of dive into. All right, I'm out. Have a great week. Have a great month. Let's keep pushing. Go to the website, www.dreammakersnetwork.org. We can schedule time to wrap on finance, personal development. There's loads of just videos and topics and good information there on the website. There's just a lot of cool stuff going, and we're making some updates this week. So there'll be more things to dive into. So go to the website, dreammakersnetwork.org, when you get a second, and have a great week, and we'll see you soon. Be blessed.
This session is no longer being recorded.